Hey everybody, welcome to the DigiMetaverse Show. I'm your host, Cooper Daniels, and this is your entry into the future of technology. So in today's episode, I have two great guests for you. I am talking to Jozua van Der Deijl, who is the CEO of DigiCorp Labs, and DigiCorp Labs is building the technology to ensure that corporations and individuals have the tools necessary to protect their identity, to own and secure their data, and look, DigiCorp Labs believes that decentralization and quantum-proof technology is absolutely necessary as we further embody the internet. And also on the show, we have Barry Morrison. Barry is a special advisor to DigiCorp Labs. He has been in the corporate world and the technology world for nearly 4 decades, and he has a very clear-eyed vision how to drive corporate adoption into Web3. It's a fantastic interview, but before we get there, let's have a little bit of fun and dive in. A lot of people are saying that the metaverse is a buzzword. Well, look, follow the money, folks, because the money is headed to Web3 and the metaverse. Now, I get it. Look, there seems to be a massive retail frenzy. You know, there was announcements from Walmart this week and Ralph Lauren and all these things, right? But it is very bullish for this space that the giant in retail commerce, e-commerce and shopping experiences is entering into the metaverse and creating their own cryptocurrency, okay? So I don't really know what a Walmart NFT would look like if it is art-based, but I'm sure there are a lot of solutions and a lot of shopping solutions that they have in the works. And I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. They're definitely creating a lot of trademarks to sell virtual goods. And yeah, I mean, good luck, Walmart. Bring us those NFTs. I wanna see them. There's Nike Land and Roblox. There Adidas and Under Armour made NFTs, and those things are going through the roof on OpenSea. They're so dang expensive. It's crazy, folks. Ralph Lauren announced that they were basically like, look, I mean, the kids are in these spaces. The kids are in the metaverse, and we've got to show up. They said something like, we're not a fashion company, we're a dreams company. I'm not really sure what that means, Ralph Lauren, but the CEO said it. And I guess I get it, because they're clearly not a fashion company, because the fashion hasn't changed since the beginning. You know, that's just the same boring stuff. Look, I feel like when I think of Ralph Lauren and them being a dreams company, what is the dream? Like riding a horse? I think the only dream I get from Ralph Lauren is being on a yacht. I guess this is a dream. The dream for Ralph Lauren is that you're on a yacht, riding a horse, playing lacrosse, wearing pretty boring clothing, if you ask me. But that's okay. Make those NFTs, Ralph Lauren. Get those avatars fitted in their polo shirts and their fun colors with their jockeys. I don't know. And there's just so many others. Like Gap has got their classic sweater NFTs. And then there's actual, this is all the fun stuff, right? All the different art use cases. But even in the retail space, if you look at like high-end stuff like Gucci or Louis Vuitton or something, they're exploring NFTs as a form of authentication, because obviously knockoffs are a huge problem in that space. So you can actually have an NFT that authenticates that authenticates your Gucci purse or your Louis Vuitton shoes or whatever, to make sure that they weren't bought on the street in on the street in New York or wherever, or someplace in China or whatever it is. I'm excited about it. If you follow me on Twitter, you're seeing me talk about NFTs all the time at this point. Because, folks, I like collecting things. My wife is so upset about my little NFT hobby right now, okay? She is like, this doesn't make any sense. But if you know me, if you've known me since a child, I like cards. I like to collect. I'm a collector. And These NFT projects, frankly, are not just images. They're creating whole communities and incentives and staking and just making it really fun. It's gamifying, right? And as we enter into these virtual worlds, games and gamifying things are absolutely going to be the form of entertainment that we seek. And as we embody this internet and all of that, as we get more involved into these virtual spaces, which is sort of troubling for a 40-year-old guy like me, but it's happening and I'm starting to embrace it. We're gonna want to make sure that we own our data, we have our secure private login, we're able to securely be in there where everything is secured, right? We need those tools. So as fun as this entire space is right now, as euphoric as it is, I'm seeing some NFTs being built on DigiAsset X now. I'm stoked to get one of those for a profile pic. I gotta figure it out. I gotta talk to that guy. DigiByte themed profile guys. So it's cool. I like it. I support it. I think you should too. Anyways, so my point is this, is that as fun as all of this is, creating your avatar, fitting it in some Nikes with a Gucci purse, spending ridiculous amounts of money on that, because by the way, when you're in a virtual world, what is the difference of your avatar wearing brand name stuff than it is when you're in the real world? I mean, look, obviously your cheap shoes function probably almost as well as expensive shoes, but you wear the expensive shoes so everybody can look at your expensive shoes and be like, oh, you fancy, huh? That's a song. Oh, you fancy, huh? Right? There's a lot to kind of break down there, but what we're gonna need is security as we embody the internet. Do you understand me? Do you get it? There's gonna be hacking, identity theft, doxing. It's a brutal world out there, folks. So we need these tools. And in this interview that you're about to watch, we talk about that. You know, Jozua has a great analogy for how, there's a gold rush going on, and they're not selling gold, or they're not selling the opportunity to get to the gold. They are selling the tools for you to mine the gold. Everybody needs the tools, folks, but not everybody's gonna get the gold. You get it? You understand? You'll learn more about that in a second. Speaking of euphoria, I think it might be wise for me to express some caution. I'm very optimistic about the crypto space, blockchain technology, Web3, the metaverse, all of it. I'm very bullish and I'm very optimistic. But I do want you to know we are entering into a very dynamic time, right? If you're in the US, you see interest rates going up, they're trimming their balance sheet, all of the things. We're not going to talk about the economics of all that right now, but what you will see, inflation and things like that are putting a lot of pressure on the markets, and things are, frankly, they're going down, most things. And then obviously there'll be a move to value and all that. But look, the point is, global conflict, there's a lot of different variables right now that make a lot of investment strategies very uncertain. This isn't investment advice, except for I do want to say this. In my personal opinion, what you shouldn't be doing right now is being wildly speculative, okay? Like, you see it in the news right now. Kim Kardashian and Floyd Mayweather are being sued for pumping Ethereum Max, right? Which is down, I think, 98% since they were talking about it on Instagram, and Floyd Mayweather, went to the Bitcoin conference wearing an Ethereum Max sweater. I mean, it's all nonsense. That type of stuff is nonsense, and it's going to zero. Another one I saw was Ring Financial. That sucked in a lot of people guaranteeing gains, and that thing is down massively. It's just a total rug pull. So there are a lot of those out there, and right now is the time to be investing long-term, for sure, in things that are solid, okay? The other things that you might want to look at are things that are, that align with your values, like decentralization or whatever it is, and have been around and are proven, right? So that's just my advice, because I think right now, there is euphoria. And to be crazy speculative about, unproven things is very, very unwise in the stock market and the crypto space in general. As we enter into this new embodied internet. Your privacy, your security, owning your data, self-sovereign identity, these are of the utmost importance, okay? And companies like DigiCorp Labs are building tools to make sure that happens. They're at the cutting edge of this. They are not contributing to the hype and the euphoria. What they're trying to do is be like, okay, we need to build tools to help protect people and corporations, and to encourage corporations to embrace what is happening and what's going to happen anyways. And these corporations know, you're going to hear in this interview, there is so many compromise, these corporations are compromised constantly. We just don't hear about it. All right, I'll stop talking because it is time to dive in with Jozua van Der Deijl and Barry Morrison. Enjoy.
3, 2, 1.
All right, so I am here with Jozua van Der Deijl. He is the CEO of DigiCorp Labs and also a special advisor to DigiCorp Labs, Barry Morrison. Thank you guys so much for joining me. How you doing?
We're doing great. As always, we're middle in the zone. A lot of things are happening with DigiCorp. We're in the middle of our ICO. We have positive news, of course. We had, of course, before we had Jared together with Rudy. We had Yoshi and Wynand. Those guys are amazing. They are so good. They love it. Their technology, the way they look at things, the development power, and also just the way they're in it for decentralization. And hopefully you guys have seen that, how passionate they are. So I'm very happy to be on your show, Cooper. I'm a big fan of you. You know that from a long time already. And I think you're doing a great job. And I'm very happy that you're here to interview me and Barry. And
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to this conversation that people can hear from one of the most experienced leaders in the field of IT, Barry Morrison.
Yep.
So I'm very happy and very honored that he's here today.
Yeah. And before we talk to you, Barry, like Jozua said, we've talked to Rudy and Jared Tate, the creator of DigiByte blockchain. And then we focused on the technical aspects last week with Yoshi and Vinand. And then today, I think our focus is how do we bring this or how do you and we, I guess, bring this technology to enterprises and corporations? And I think that this is a specific specialty of yours. And so I don't know, maybe we can start with getting to know you and a bit of your experience and, what you have been focused on in your career.
Great. Thanks for the opportunity, gentlemen. So a little bit about myself. I was in this industry for over 40 years. I recently retired, and I'm excited to be part of DigiCorp Labs. Jos reached out to me a while ago and said, look, I need some leadership and some guidance and around the enterprise and how do we tackle the enterprise. And a lot of people talk and think about what the metaverse really is as well, about visual arts and things like that and crypto and all. And I see it as a lot differently. I see it as an enterprise opportunity. So where did I come from? 40 years in this organization. Started off when it was bits and bytes, 1980, and seen it evolve. And I think the metaverse and blockchain and all that's just another evolution. We went from the mainframe, which was the center of all organization, to distributed computing when digital equipment came, and we started to get distributed. So another way of looking at sort of what's happening today. And then we've seen, software come out like Unix that could tie together all these computers. And then Linux came out and open source and started, distributed environment again and causing disruption. And then this thing called the PC came out. First there was Wang and word processing. It was in one little, unit in an office, and everyone would fight to use that unit to use it. Now it's the PC world came, and then the world changed to a software-led world, right? And it's all evolved over the last 40 years. And today, my last job, I had the privilege of leading, the MIA organization of a large corporation and the Americas organization. And what I think Jos is interested for myself is what experience I gathered through these roles. And the biggest one I'll tell you is cultural awareness. The world is quite different. And although I worked for American companies most of my life, when you get and work in other parts of the world, you see a different thing, and you see a different way of doing business. And different countries and different cultures adopt and progress I'll say at a different pace. And the Netherlands and the Nordics is a good example. Really, really, intelligent, innovative people that are committed and work hard and are trustworthy, and just get it done. And when Yost reached out to me, I was like, oh, I thought it was a real privilege that he reached out to me. Somebody who grew up in this world, and he's going to help me understand the new world as it relates to, say DigiByte and the market there. But that being said, I think, when you look at the way the world's evolving, blockchain's been around for a while, and everyone has and is using blockchains. Every corporation, 6-7 years ago was investigating, trying to find applications and solutions around blockchain. And then the world came out with the coins, and everyone started thinking blockchain equaled coins, and everyone thinks the metaverse equals coin-based companies and all that. And it's not right. The blockchain is a distributed, I'll say, decentralized, really secure, software application that companies are using today to build the most secure distributed solutions in the market. And everybody wants that. I mean, everyone sort of understands the value of centralized computing, and it's gone back and forth over my career 3 or 4 times. But when you look at centralized computing, there's risk. And anyway, decentralized, there's risk. Now, if you can solve the security, accessibility, right, and simplify the distributed environment, there's a huge opportunity. And it starts with things like the mobile workforce. It's what we're seeing today. Everyone's working from home. So when you also approached me, it was like, I can guide you, I can help you, I can understand from a customer's perspective, I can understand from enterprise delivery organization's perspective. And so my role is to help Jos and his team, go on this journey with DigiCorp Labs.
Yeah, I think that this is important. And like you said, a lot of people equate the metaverse and Web3 and, this whole kind of technological revolution that's sort of happening right now to just coins. And that is off-putting probably to a lot of corporations. And they're thinking, okay, this is hype. These are buzzwords. These are things that aren't going to last. It's just people trying to get rich, really. But what's actually happening, and what I'm sure DigiCorp Labs has brought you on for, is that you can create these relationships and let them know how serious and these are real solutions for their companies that have nothing to do with a currency or anything like that. Right? Do I got it right?
You got it right. I mean, when he approached me, first I started saying, "Oh, I'm not really into the coin market and all that. I, dabble a little bit here and there." And he goes, "Barry, you missed the point. I need you to help me with the enterprise. We need to make this a real company that delivers real application, real solutions based on blockchain to help customers solve, these following business challenges." And I was said, "Oh, if we're talking that way, I get it. I'm all in. Let's go."
There we go.
And so,
well, and you told me you guys we talked a little bit before, and so you worked together. Was it 7-8 years ago? Is that correct?
It was probably for about 3.5-4 years, and until from like 2014 to 2018. Yeah, and I had the privilege of being part of the leadership team in EMEA, and what a wonderful experience just working in EMEA, just to see the way the cultures are a challenge. And I was asked to go over there because I wasn't from EMEA. And I wasn't American. I was Canadian. So it was real opportunity. And what I learned was far beyond anything I thought I would learn, and what I learned and how I learned to change my leadership style, because it's all about cultural awareness. To be culturally aware and understand and respect those cultures. Right. It's how you succeed in those regions. So how you treat and talk to somebody in France or Germany or South Africa or Russia or the Nordics or the US are all quite different. And so I had the privilege of mastering, I'll say, that experience. And it was a wonderful time. And Jos is one of the leaders that worked with me, and we had a great time. We had a wonderul time together. So when he reached out to me, why not?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's true, because I knew Barry is not retired is a great word, because he's still a great business coach for many leaders in the IT world. But I knew he was the one that could connect the metaverse, the blockchain space, to the enterprise world. Because one of the great things I think that Barry did is that he listens very well, and he doesn't judge. First, he listens and observes, and I think that scale is what we needed. And we already see his benefits from his network, his guidance. That makes us a lot of more. If we talk now to a large enterprise, And of course, we have guys in the team that are also quite familiar with it. So they know the drill, they know how to do it. It's a different conversation. And I think this is very important for the people in the crypto space, because we are in between. We are a crypto, but we also are an enterprise company. And I think this makes us really exciting, because we have this great technology. We know how to deliver this. Also, we're also going to do it to consumers. You see the way we are doing our marketing. It's really like a gaming experience, because we know that the Metaverse is built by gaming developers. It's not 2D, it's 3D. It's modern, but we still have to understand that we have to deliver value. And I think a lot of things in the Metaverse are a lot of hype. We see coin burning, and we see airdrops, and we giving value to each other. I'm from the Netherlands, and we had, probably you know that, I'm a little bit of a history nerd, so I know a lot about history. We had like the tulip things, about the tulips. And one tulip in the 1600 was just much worth as one big building, a grachtenhuis in Amsterdam, the canals. You could pay for one tulip bulb, you could buy that building. That value is not there. And personally, I see a lot of things happening there. NFTs now, everybody wants to go in NFT. Everybody thinks that the metaverse is like a VR, ER. We believe that the metaverse is something we're going to live in, because it's going to be the reality and the digital life interacting with each other. And we try to get that across, but a lot of people say, yeah, what are you now? Are you going to build like Meta is doing with, are you going to build avatars? Are you going to do with Google's? We said, we're going to do that. But first of all, we have to lay a foundation. And I think that's important. The same like internet. Nobody ever thinks how internet comes to their chamber. It has to always be there. And there's a generation now that expects that there is always data, there is always access, there's always Wi-Fi, but there has to be infrastructure. And that's what we deliver to these enterprises. And we make that secure. And we bring them to the metaverse and the metaverse. And of course, they will do business in the metaverse with virtual reality. We believe that's going to be very big with avatars that are going to help you, give you guidance if you want to choose a new car. That you are actually going to do that in your home, and then you convert your car, your Tesla or what I can, and then it drives it for you, and you already has experienced it before you have really driven it in the real world. This will bring, of course, costs down, because that's what it's all about. But one important thing, and we had the discussion today also with the leadership team, and Barry was also present. It's not only about bringing technology. We have another large event, and that's called the climate change. We have to use our data a lot differently. We all know what of energy Bitcoin consumes, and nobody starts to think about it. And data consumes so much energy. Everybody thinks that data can grow and grow and grow. It cannot, because everybody still has it still has to be in a data center. It still has to be on iron. It still consumes a lot of cooling water. We're in the Netherlands, have now the most data centers in the world. Why? Because we have a lot of electricity and we have a lot of water to cool them. So what's happening is Microsoft is putting their AWS, Google, they all put this big, but what happens is they use farmland and they use other precious land. And another thing, Wynand also told in the last interview, isn't it strange that we now want to, in Africa, we want to provide internet and cloud, and they're being hosted here in the Nordics, in EMEA. Why don't we host them in Africa, where you also can generate jobs? So there is more going on, and I think Barry is also very aware of that, and he is also very fond of that, and I know it's one of the things that is very important, is sustainability. The way we store data costs a lot of less energy. So it also makes business sense. That is one of the reasons large enterprises talk to us, because they are they know they cannot, you see that they're aware they have to change. And this is very important, because most people see enterprise as something evil, but we have to remember one thing: enterprises are made of people, and they have children, they have grandchildren, and they also are responsible. And I think that is very important. So if we can change those enterprises, and they're willing to, and I think with the right approach, with we are doing it together with Barry, I think we're doing it the right way, Cooper.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
there's
so.
I think there's so much more, Yost, too. Like when you guys brought the offerings forward with Threefold and built, and we started looking at those and seeing how they could advance the business world, and advance the enterprise. And with the current situation in this world, as everyone goes to, further into the mobile workforce, what does that mean to the world? What does that mean to the enterprise? That really today means, risk, around security, around privacy, where the information is stored. There's a lot of fear, and I don't think it's going to go back. I hate to say it. I love the corporate world. I loved working in New York and London and all those places. But now you look at work-life balance, and you look at, how people, how people perform, or how their productivity is improved by not having to travel for an hour and a half, 2 hours each way to work, and the things that it does for the environment, and saves things like that. But I think the enterprise world now is like, we've got to really step it up to the next level. And I think a lot of the solutions that DigiByte has, DigiCorp Labs has, is going to be a tremendous help to these corporations, like the quantum storage, safe storage, like the secure ID, right?
Well, and
the on and off ramps into the metaverse. And all. It's really cool what they built. So
well,
how do
yeah,
you take that and make it real?
Yeah, absolutely. And, just like you guys are saying, that we probably are not going back to a place where if you have a business meeting, you have to hop on a plane. And then there's going to be a lot of people. I mean, obviously, working from home has exploded. And then when you're at home, I mean, my Wi-Fi is not very protected. Like it's not like anybody can kind of get into my Wi-Fi. I'm sure I haven't taken all the steps and all that. And, and I remember recently I had, I had to allow my screen to be shared, and I left it there. And I realized, oh my gosh, anybody could probably easily get into my Wi-Fi and just hop on my computer. And so obviously I turned that off. So, I have to imagine that corporations are worried about when you have high level employees working from home on these insecure Wi-Fis and everything else.
For sure.
Yeah. So
I had a great example. Just Cooper, yesterday, a neighbor across the street was on Facebook, and she left her live Facebook on, and you could hear everything going on in their house, and they were talking. And then so somebody reached out to them and said, whoa, I don't know what you did, but you're live on Facebook, just like we're doing a conference call here. So insecure. Even this call, in a sense, is insecure. And that's why, one of the solutions that they've developed is pretty cool, right? A secure,
it's very cool. It's very cool.
Conferencing. That's cool to corporations. That makes you feel a lot more secure about having people work remote, having people on a conference call, knowing that it stays within that room. Right. So that's another cool solution they have.
And obviously secure login and things like that, creating these systems that are just within, the corporation or the company that is holding this data, and having the quantum safe data storage. So I did look back a little bit and watch some of your interviews, Barry, that you've done. I went on YouTube and I searched around. And I noticed that, you've been talking about, quote unquote, big data for a while, right?
Yes.
So maybe we can talk about the solutions of DigiCorp Labs and this history of data. And, because we hear about data leaks all the time. We hear about all of our information being revealed all the time. I got a notification that, these sites revealed my information just the other day. And so, that's one aspect of it. And obviously we're more concerned about the corporate aspect of it. But what have you noticed over, the years that you've been involved in this space, about data and the importance of securing that and everything, decentralizing that?
Yeah, I think data has always been important, but I think it started 8-10 years ago when you started thinking about machine to machine products, when you started thinking AI, when you started thinking about cloud, how cloud is evolving, and you're putting this data out into Neverland. And is it secure? Is it a value? And corporations still today, I mean, their most strategic data they keep in their data centers, right? They're not putting it out to cloud-based solutions. Even though they want to do it from a reduced cost, the cloud brought them reduced cost and reduced infrastructure, and I'll say flexibility on tier 2, tier 3 information or data. So the most important thing in your business is data. Let's be honest. Besides your people, I'm a management consultant, or a leadership consultant. people are really important, but your data is that most important asset. If your data is compromised or it's lost or somebody else, you lose your strategic advantage. You lose your customers' information. You just lose your customers' information once, and people don't back. And so,
No.
finding a customer is so critical. So when you start thinking of, data, we in the last sort of 4 or 5 years, really have pushed that thought to everybody, saying data is intelligence. Data is your strategic weapon. Data is what is going to drive your growth. Data is everything. And so when you think of what DigiCorp's built with some of their solutions on, I think they take it to the next level around security, enablement, and go forward to where the world wants to work and how to do it. I mean, the corporate world is going to have to touch this, play with it, understand it, use it before they really allow it to be totally gone that way. And it's an evolution. I mean, let's be honest. This 40-year journey that I've been on, these things take time. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to go on like that. It's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of hard work by corporations. They're doing it. I guarantee they're doing it. Now they're looking for companies like DigiCorp Labs to come forward and say, look, we have a solution around this area that can help you, around your storage security, and you'll feel comfortable putting it outside your data center. Today they're not. Right. Today they're comfortable putting the low value stuff, and they go into corporations. I won't say names, but this is still your data. So if you put it into a company, I'll pick on a CRM company that offers online, cloud services. That CRM company has all your customer data. Kid yourself not, they do. And so how do you protect yourself against that? Not saying that company or any other company that does that would compromise that, because they lose everything. But somehow you're putting a lot of trust into that corporation, and they're massive corporations. And we see it on, what our kids and everybody else does, or just what I just talked about, Facebook, that data is out there. How do you make it personalized? How do you make it yours? And that's what I think, when you look at digitalization and Web 3.0, that's what it's going to become. It's going to become your data, your identity, your sovereign identity. No one's going to be able to touch it. No one's going to be able to play with it. And when we get there, then the corporate world will see that, and they'll be there too. So it's not going to happen overnight. A lot of people say, how long is this journey? And I go, it's a journey, and journeys never end. It could be a 5 to 10 year trend, which something else will come in, just like those other ones I talked about. So that's what excites me about, what Jozua and team are doing. It's he didn't come and say, hey, Bear, we're going to make this product, we're going to sell it, and we're going to be massive, and overnight we're going to be rich. He never came. He came to me and said, we have these ideas, we have some solutions, we're going to build this, we're going to enable it, we're going to build an on and off ramp to allow people to get in and do subsequent development and help drive the adoption of these solutions and other solutions. And that's what interests me, because that's about what the enterprise are looking for today.
Yeah, Jozua, I was going to ask, so, like we mentioned earlier, Meta and, their entry into the metaverse and things like that. And I don't think there's many people left that trust, that company, but there is, but for some reason they keep on going. And I don't know, I guess people really like Facebook or something and Instagram, but moving forward, there are other companies, centralized companies like Google, Google Authenticator and IBM, and all of these large corporations, centralized corporations, are going to be building solutions as well. What are the advantages? Why are these corporations going to be like, what, I want to go with the DigiCorp Labs?
It's very, very simple and they have to do it because people be aware of it. And that's it.
Right.
When the genie is out of the bottle, and it is, because you already mentioned it, it's not safe.
Yeah.
And Barry says it. If you're an enterprise and you're aware of it, your greatest assets are your people and your data.
Right.
And they are aware of it. They know it. One of the largest corporations in the world, they know that they are being it's not their company anymore. They know that the big five are actually running their company. The whole process, they are owning your data. It's stored in the warehouse. And of course, it's not a healthy thing. We can compare it with what happened with oil. Data and oil are very similar to each other. We all know that Standard Oil had a monopoly. And everybody had to buy with the richest guy in the world, Rockefeller. because he controlled everything, and there was no innovation. So what happened? Now the American, I think the American Senate and the American Congress said we're going to break it up. It's not good for health for business. People know, even large corporations know that they have to do it. And security and owning and controlling your data is the most important thing. We are
Yeah.
providing that, and I think that is something very strong. And I also told that at the moment there is a gold rush happening, and what we're providing the tools, and everybody now is looking for the next gaming or the next NFT, and I compare it with the California gold rush. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are looking for gold. Who, of course, some guys are going to extract gold, and we've seen those guys,
Yeah.
and they're filthy rich, and good to them. But
Yeah.
believe me, not everybody is going to find gold. What are we doing? We're selling the tools. We're
Yeah.
selling a shovel. We're selling
Yeah. A pick.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a pipe to pick. And what's the great thing about it? Those things, after the California Guild Wars, people can use it to build California. They build infrastructures. They build the homes
Yeah.
with you. And that's what we're doing. When the gold rush is over, for the NFTs and the metaverse, and it will be over,
Mm-hmm.
because with everything what goes up goes down. We know that it's all about cycles. But what we are trying to do, and that's why we choose DigiByte, because I'm a great fan of DigiByte, and why people said, why would you choose DigiByte? DigiByte has all the right things there to do so. It is
Mm-hmm.
it is actually, I said, the hidden gem. That's why we're building on it, and that's why corporations now will adjust it, and it will do great things for decentralization. I think it makes the world a lot better place, and I think understanding that it's a difficult story. We knew when we started. We better, if you want to be want to make it hard, we should do something like an avatar project right away, or gaming and NFTs. That was an easy sell, but we really
Right.
wanted to change. We wanted to change something, and I think that's what DigiByte is all about. That's why it's a great community. It's not only because we all know DigiByte is not done the best investment in the last 5-6 years. We can be very honest about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are other
Well,
projects.
certainly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But why are people sticking to it? And why we are sticking to it? The technology is amazing, and now enterprises will find out how to do that, and we will adopt that. And let me be very clear: we don't have the solution for everything. We are focusing on areas that at the moment are now, just like Barry said, security, owning your data, controlling your data. We have 5 products going out in the Q1 and Q2 that will address those problems. And from there on, we will evolve. It's a journey. It's not that we will do everything at once. We will control it. But we believe, just like all the other larger corporations, they're never in the first wave. Remember, the first wave was AOL, Yahoo, MySpaces. They're all gone. It's always the second wave that become the juggernaut. We're in
Right.
the second wave. We know that. We have seen the first wave. We're in the second wave, and we're very committed, and we know we bring value, because in the metaverse, it's all about where you spend your time. Time will be your
Right.
most precious commodity. It's already today, but how to monetize your time and data, that is the question. If you look at our roadmap, you see in the end, we said that we will make, and that's where I think Barry's story comes in. You have your data lake, you have your private data lake, and because you're the only one who can access that, wouldn't it be great if you can use artificial intelligence to give you real advice from all your experiences that benefits you? At the moment, everybody knows that the algorithms, and where if you go on Facebook and Instagram, you're being targeted for toothbrush.
Ads.
You know
Yeah.
that.
I think a
Yeah.
different way to answer your question there was, somebody said it. I might have been Weinert, but I don't know who said it in the last while. What is something that DigiCorp Labs and its partnerships are trying to build is that on and off ramp for the enterprise to that, I'll say, distributed, decentralized, sovereign data field, right? Or enterprise. That's really important to understand. That's what we're trying to do, and that's why, like the smart layer and some of these other solutions that they're developing and trying to work in the academy and all, is trying to get everyone to consolidate and focus around the DigiByte blockchain solutions. So that excites me. And when you think of it that way, it's like a lot of people aren't doing that. Everyone's sort of, everyone's trying to look at point here, point there. And I think Yost and team are trying to build something that's going to be used by everybody and anybody who wants to use it.
Yeah. And I think a key word there is distributed and decentralized, because, you can always trust Google if you want, and then see what happens, or you can trust, you can trust these centralized figures, or like DigiThree and what Weinard said, last week when we talked to him, and what they're building is a truly decentralized solution. And I think that takes away these single points of failure and all of that. Yeah. And, as we're talking, I've been thinking about, I read in the news recently, and it's cybersecurity in general. It's just like, the United States came out and basically said that our critical infrastructure is basically at risk. There's nothing almost we can do, of that being attacked. And the only solution really at that point is retaliation. So the only thing the United States can really do to being our critical infrastructure being attacked is just retaliation. That's about the only thing. And so that just made me think, man, if something as powerful as the United States can't even protect its critical infrastructure from cyber attacks,
right,
just think about how at risk all these corporations worth billions of dollars and have, it's just like, think about how risky this is. We're in such a risky game right now. And as technology, and now we're about to embody the internet further. It's just like, now we're going to enter virtual worlds. We're going to just think about all the host of problems of doxing and, just all of these things that are going to happen to people having, it's
the biggest concern of any CXO person is security and protection of data. And I can tell you, every company's had issues. Yeah. The biggest thing is everyone does a good job not talking about it. You protect yourself, and right. You just think of the tens of billions of dollars are spent every year on legal things and trying to protect yourself. And then if you put in the IT costs, so security still and will forever be the most important thing, and especially around your data. So I look at the enterprises. I think we offer something unique and different. I think blockchain is a lot more secure than anything in the market today. So how do we enable these solutions based on blockchain to protect and help the clients protect themselves?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
No, but you're right, Cooper. Like, we have seen the Evergreen in the Suez Canal. What happened? The whole global supply chain gets stuck. We are now at the moment that everything is just in time. We don't have supplies like we used to have. Everything is just in time. If something happens with our data, everybody is not aware, especially the younger generation, the Generation X, the millennials. They're always used that everything is always there. Yeah. We are now seeing on the most dangerous. This is the most dangerous period ever. Russia is now we are in Europe, and we are different than your guys. Believe me, we have heard our stories about our grandfathers, about the Second World War. I can still remember all the stories, and now again, a big army in the east is at our borders. The younger guys say, it will go away, it will go, but it will not go away. There's a lot. The world is a very dangerous place, and we have the coronavirus. Everything is happening now, and this is it's we have to be aware, and because we want to move on, because we don't want to stick in this world, we have to move to a new system. We have to move to a new financial system. Everybody feels what's happening now cannot happen. We see the dollar, the American. If you look how much debt the American taxpayer has, it's tremendous. But it's not only America; it's happening all over the world, also here in Europe. We all feel it. That's why crypto is such a big thing. It's a hedge against uncertainty, and here comes it. It's all about uncertainty. And what does an investor want, and what does an enterprise? They want certainty, because they need things to control. And that's why I'm saying there'll always be compelling events that we cannot control. But what you can control, you must control. That is lesson one. If you start an enterprise, if you have your family, just see yourself as a family. If something goes wrong, you need to have fresh water. You need to have candles. And this
a secure home.
And that is things that we used to taught. We used to taught that you have to have water, you have to have some extra food, some canned food,
Toilet paper.
Runs out.
You know,
No, but
you know, I 100%. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I
yeah,
100% agree with you, and I think your gold rush analogy is perfect, because everybody during the gold rush needed the picks and the axes, and
yeah,
and not everybody strikes gold, and so. But so that's a fantastic thing. And then also you mentioned the coronavirus. You know, I'm living in Los Angeles, and you know, at the center of all that, you know, I have children, I have a family. The only thing I cared about was making sure my house was protected and we had the things we needed, you know,
yeah,
at the most base level, the things that I could control. And I
yes,
think, you know, on a bigger scale, I think corporations, now that they're seeing where technology is going, and like you said, Barry, they know how they're being compromised. Maybe they don't let it out, but they know how they're being
Yeah, for sure.
compromised. So there's an urgency to these types of solutions, and a little of the glitz and the glamour. I mean, clearly, if you look at the retail space right now, everybody's panicking because they're like, oh gosh, we lost to Amazon and e-commerce already. Like, we've got to go. We got to make some NFTs, you know, like
Yeah.
what do
yes,
we have to do to make the kids happy? Because we can't lose to Amazon again, you know,
Yeah.
basically is what it seems to be going on. But, all right. So, I mean, look, I think that, I think we did it. What else you want to talk about with me, guys? Because I mean, I'm excited that I mean, I'm here. I've been talking about this with you for a while, and
yeah, no,
Jozua, and it seems like every time we talk about it, I get excited again. And I think because I am also on some level, a conservative person, so it really appeals to me things that make sense. And listening to Barry and how onboarding corporations and the way you need to discuss to, you know,
yeah,
the way you have to communicate with people from different regions, and just that type of that stuff that nobody talks about. We all want to know, okay, who are you partnering with? Announce it, make you know, make the price go up, you know, all of these things. But there's so much underneath all of this that is
yes.
going on. Yeah.
I think what Barry said, and I think Cooper, the reason people have this, that a lot of people have announcements and announcements and announcements, and we will have announcements, but it has to make sense. We have to have allowed to make an announcement.
Yeah.
It's not about getting the hype. We wanted to show that our technology is working, and I think that's the great thing about the DGMV token. The price will go up because it will be used,
Right.
and there will be scarcity, and it is incorporated in all our solutions.
Right.
And that makes it very powerful. And also, when Joshi came along and Ynet, that will be the guest for the smart layer, and you heard what they're doing and developing. It's going to be
Yeah.
awesome. But here comes it. At the moment, smart contracts are mostly made for gaming or NFTs. What we are
Yeah.
also approaching is smart contracts for enterprises. If you look at the scale of wallet, what's the largest market? It's not the NFT and the gaming, it's the enterprises. They are the largest share of wallet, and we are catering for them. We also will cater for the NFTs and for the gaming and the virtual reality. But can you imagine if a large corporation says, "I will do my smart contracts on the DGMV smart layer"?
Yeah.
And it is more secure and it's more thing. And DigiByte has the golden asset. It is excellent for a layer one. When Joshi told me about his plan, I was amazed. I said, "This is, yeah." I don't want to be too hyped on, because at first we have to deliver, because that's we under promise and over deliver. That's the DigiByte thing. And I think also with us, I think, but Barry always told us, be humble, be hungry, and be honest. That is a very
Yeah.
important thing to be. So I
Absolutely.
don't want to hype. I don't want to hype it. We're working on developing technology. Things are looking good. It doesn't mean that everything will work out fine. We are a startup. We are developing, so not everything will be working out with what we think. So people have to be aware. I know not everybody is saying that, but we are saying that.
Yeah.
But I know I can say with confidence, I know I have 5 products coming out, and that are now at the moment being POC'd by large enterprises, and they're very happy about it. And we're now adjusting those, and we have announced one of the a large company in Singapore in APEC. And another thing is, people have to understand, and that makes us really setting apart. We're doing business all over the globe, and that is very important. The metaverse is, in my belief, uniting people. For the first time, someone in Africa or in South America can also start an enterprise and go to the market in Americas much quicker. And I think that will, all the problems we have now with countries, I think that will disappear. I think hopefully we will all come to realize that we live in one earth, one metaverse, and we have to do it together. And if we realize that, I think we as a human species are evolving. And I think it's not only about making lots of money in that. I wish everybody wealth, and I wish everybody health. And for wealth, you need money. But for wealth is not only money, it's also a way of life. And also that you are not the only one who has a lot of money, but perhaps that's for me as a European, we think it's better to also to share and then have it all yourself. But that's
Right.
also a little bit what DigiCorp Labs about. Is that's how we also approach the enterprises.
Yeah.
And say,
When I think, Jules, when I think of the enterprise and where we're trying to enter it, a lot of people want solutions today. Now, when you were sort of saying, Cooper, when are you going to have this? It's let's walk into this. Let's not run into this, because we run into this, we're going to make lots of mistakes.
yes,
Threefold's been around for a while. They've got really defined solutions. Give them credit. They're walking into it. They're not running. And as we do these POCs, do it right, because the only thing we have is customer testimonial, right? Once we get this customer testimonials, and these are all big corporations, I know them all, they will bring credibility to DigiCorp Labs. And that's what we're trying to do. So, I get worried because people are saying, "Oh, I'm gonna buy into this. I'm gonna do the ICO. I'm gonna do this." I go realize it takes time. We're not going to turn on one day and have this be worth billions of dollars. It's going to take time. We're going to build the right solutions at the right time, and do it, and deliver it on time with what customer really needs. Like, we say the right.
Absolutely. And, Jozua, you mentioned smart contracts, and, with corporations, we were talking about wealth and money, but reality is the bottom line for corporations, it drives what they do. And and so with smart contracts, unfortunately, a lot of people will probably lose their job, but it will also save corporations tons of money. If they start to get on the blockchain and they start to execute these types of things automatically using smart contracts, this is a massive opportunity for the corporate world, to
absolutely,
adopt.
absolutely.
Yeah.
If you see, for the first time, high educational jobs are on the line, like a barrister, someone working with a notary, a specialist, that used to be a lot of knowledge can be done in a different way, and that makes a difference. But you're saying people are going to lose a job. I see for the first time we're going to employ more people a job, because the metaverse provides a different economy. And one of the things I'm very fond of is the third turning, the book The Third Turning, that says that we are now in a third turning compelling event, and that the world, the economic the system is changed. One of the things we did in a tweet was about Ron Paul, about what he says about the metaverse. He says the metaverse is an evolution for the next economy, and that's why it doesn't happen by chance. It has not happened by chance. We need to go to the metaverse so everybody has a job, everybody can earn their money in a different way, so that we don't use the precious commodities we have of Earth, because we have only one planet. The great thing about digital commodities, we can make millions of them because they're digital. But we don't want to have all the digital assets. There will be some digital assets that are much rare. The most rare digital asset at the moment is Bitcoin. But it's still a code. But it's a special code. We say this special code has this value, and we all believe in that. But in the future, there will be other codes that will also be precious. And the great thing is you can create a lot of digital assets with a smart layer. The fees are much lower. It's much more secure, decentralized. The speed is there. And I think that's one of the hidden gems of what we are providing.
Yeah. We talked about gaming and NFTs and stuff like that, but I was reading an article recently, and in the Philippines, with a crypto game, play to earn, Axie Infinity, there are people in the Philippines that make their living playing that game. I mean, so there's also this other opportunity, and that is wildly, like a lot of Ralph Lauren said it recently. He's like, look, this is where the kids are, so we've got to figure this out. Not Ralph Lauren himself, but the corporation.
You're right. Yeah. And that's our kids are going to make the new future. So it has always been, and they will do it. And that's why we have this solid technology, and we bring it in a different way. Our marketing is on the kids' way. It's different. It's a different way of doing it. We want to combine the best things with the creativity of the millennials and the Generation Z. They're tremendous generations. Everybody sometimes bashes on the millennials or the Generation Z. Every generation has their faults and also their brilliance. I believe there is excellence in all of them. They're going to make our new future. And what I'm very proud of, and I think Barry is also, that we can contribute to that. We are bringing something solid. They can build on it, and perhaps they're going to build something even better than we do. I applaud them. But I believe, hopefully, and I think that is what we bring to the market, and that hopefully people are excited about it. We are one of the first companies that makes a metaverse available to the enterprise world, and that makes it very special. And also that technology learned, we will adopt to the consumers, and we will think that in the end, everybody will benefit, and that's what we want.
Yeah. No, agree. The enterprise is only part of it, but I love how you talked about the youth and what they're doing, how they use it. I mean, I obviously have kids that are like your guys' age, but it's like they talk a different language. And when I approached them at Christmas, telling them when I was helping Joost and team too, they thought it was cool. There was this and this, and I find it complex. Yeah. Where the youth today might find the enterprise complex, they find this cool and easy.
I know. Well, I think, even I'm too old to think, well, okay, so, owning a digital picture is worth, I've come around, but it's like, to somebody that's 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, it's just like, well, yeah, of course, man, this is where we're going. We got to own this. And this is this isn't weird at all. Digital phones, and we're,
but then the foundation of the, of most of the application of the world, the most things that are run today are still built on legacy applications, legacy enterprise organizations. Yeah. So we got to balance. There's a balance here, and that's one of the great things I think Joost and team are doing. They're gonna enable the enterprise world to come and join partially. I'll say this new world, Web 3.0 or whatever it is, Metaverse and all that, and vice versa. We can help them enable their tools and skills to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what I hope, I know it's a long interview, and perhaps not everybody has watched it to the end. Most people are, especially watch 10 minutes or 5 minutes, and we have this conversation. And so if you're still there, you're really interested. And I think it is very interesting, because if you want to bring value and as an investment, you have to understand what's going on in the world. You have to know that it's no accident. It's not just one part. It's part of a cycle, and I think that makes it such a great thing, Cooper. And I think you understand it also with your other project, Algorand, also a great project. I'm very also has a lot of benefits, because I think we're not competitors in this space. We all have our special thing to do, and that if you understand that, there is enough for everybody. And let them all do what they're best at. We will do that. We will never. I always have respect for other people's technology. If we can help them, DigiByte helped Dogecoin with the DigiShield. Jared said that. I think that's a great example. And I hope people will see and hopefully discover what we bring. And if they see that, I think even Elon Musk will say, "Wow, I have to have the DigiCorp Quantum Safe for storing my data for the Tesla. Why I'm doing that now with AWS." So hopefully,
absolutely, Well, and I think bringing,
No, sir. So just following that point, I just see a tremendous opportunity or partnership that can be built, through the community with the DigiCorp Lab and the Metaverse and how smart layer and all that. So there's a huge opportunity for partnerships. Small, medium partners, corporations, everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and also these gaming things or these other metaverses, I mentioned Axie Infinity earlier. A lot of these things are pretty centralized in a lot of ways, or however it works, and those types of partners there's potential there too, because they're the people that participate need to have a secure entry into it, and all of that. And so I think that there's a myriad of opportunities. And like you said, I personally believe in the technology at DigiByte. And, I talked to Yoshi and Wynand last week, and those guys are clearly know what they're doing. I noticed that Rudy was reaching out, hiring out the team. So if anybody is a experienced developer, you could go onto Twitter and reach out to Rudy, I'm sure. And, so I just think that everything is pointing in the right direction from my perspective, at least.
It is. And hopefully this conversation, because I think it's not an interview, we're having a conversation with the three of us with, I think, important topics. And it's not only about technology and that technology supports it, but it's not all about technology. And I think that's why it's important that Barry, with his experience of the enterprise world, we with our vision, because we have a vision, and that's very important. And hopefully people will get it. And I know everybody also about the LCX hack. Probably everybody wants to know about that. So I will bring it up myself, Cooper. So I know.
Okay.
But that's a great example. That's a great. I cannot tell all about it. Only the official things that are from LCX. But I can tell you the way they handled it was excellent. They were very open about it. They didn't hide it, and Barry knows that most companies will hide it.
Yeah.
Every exchange is being hacked sometimes.
I was going to say, we've already moved on from the LCX hacks. Now we're on to the crypto.com hack. So LCX, I didn't even bring it up because that's old news. We're now, crypto.com just lost 4,000 ETH or whatever it was.
It's very simple. Every bank in the world have been robbed. There is no bank in the world that has not have a stick of guy coming with a coin to rob them. And why are they robbing? Why are they robbing? Because you have value. And here comes what Barry says. What is the most precious thing a company has except from its people? Data. So what do you want to do? Protect that. Because there are evil guys around and girls and perhaps aliens in the metaverse. Everybody can be there. So avatars, we never know. It doesn't matter where you're from. There are always good people. And there are also persons with different intent. You have to be secure. And I think that actually, and that's what we're offering. And I think that makes it such a great thing. I think a lot of people are now more aware of it. And the great thing is about LCX, the way they handle it, that is the best thing. If you can always say, when things go wrong, I'll have it secure. But it's the way you handle yourself. And LCX has done that perfectly. DGMV token is not compromised. It's safe. There's no problem with everything will be straightened out. It costs a little bit of time, but we respect it. That's the reason also why the ICO is a little bit longer. I can understand certain people say, okay, it will take like longer. It's not that we have done it. I think it's 3 weeks longer, not anymore.
Right.
And because we need to have the time, and also people are asking now we cannot invest. So that's the reason, Cooper.
Right. And so if people aren't aware, so if they believe in this vision and they want to invest in DGMV, they can do it currently right now at LCX, correct?
At the moment, it's open for business. They can still invest in it if they want it. I know also for our American audience, they cannot invest, and that we have a lot of questions why they cannot invest. They think we're not allowing them. It's not up to us. It's about the legislation. I'm very unfortunate. Barry isn't Canadian, so that we can invest. So, and But I think that is also a lot of people who work for us and partners even bought it because they know what we are doing. They see that this is something different, and I think that's where I'm the most proud of that partners, guys who are working for us, they buying the token. They know what the token will do, and that is the best compliment you can have. because they know what value we bring. I know, and that's very important. You have to a longer term, and of course there will be projects that go sky high and then go down. We all know that in the crypto space, but we go for this, and we think, and that's the same way we will go with our customers. We will go gradually, and of course there will be ups and downs, but we will move ahead. We have a long-term vision, and I think that's the reason why Barry is also an advisor, because he asked, what are you going to do? Are you going to do it all right away? He said, no, it's an evolution. So, okay, then we're on the right spot. But then we also, go ahead, Barry.
No, that's a true point. I did ask you when you approached me. So how long is this going to take? Because, I was concerned. He said, it's a 3 to 7 year journey before we really see anything relevant to really, get there. We're going to have great solutions along the way. Before we're where I believe where we should be, it's going to be 5 to 7 years,
Yeah.
And I said, wow, that's a vision. Now he's got a vision, and
Right.
that's important. Now it's about developing strategy and executing against strategy. And so it's going to take time, but
of course
it was, I mean, every day I know they work night and day. So every day is a rush for them, but it takes time to build something great. And I think they're going to do it.
Yeah. And the great thing is that we already have those 5 products ready. And I think that sets us apart from a lot of other crypto guys that are waiting to still have their products going on live, and people have bought them. And perhaps their tokenomics was the best tokenomics and people bought it, but they have not delivered the products. In the end, and let me be very clear for everybody, it's not about how great your ICO is. It's not how great your token value is at the moment. In the end, the only thing what counts is what you deliver for value with the customers. The customer is always right. Yeah,
Right.
The investors can be wrong, but a customer can never be wrong. And in the end, it's all about getting revenue. And everybody says, it's a different kind of economy. Now, we all remember the dot-com bubble. Then they say the internet will change everything. In the end, it's all about bringing value and bringing a demand for the value. And bringing the best value, that's the one that wins. So I think that also why I'm very happy that Barry is around. We want to be a customer-centric company. And the customer hopefully will pay our bills, and that's important.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, there you go. It sounds good to me. Well, I appreciate both of you coming on, and I hope, as this journey continues and we learn more, maybe we learn more of the partners and everything, and the corporate, the picture becomes more clear. You'll be willing to come back on and we can talk about this some more.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. But we have another guys coming up. I think Monty also wants to go into the show.
Good.
Cooper.
Yeah. Well, that'd be a great.
And hopefully he can tell more what happened. I'm not going to able to do that, but
let's do that.
About the great things. So I know he's a great fan of yours and eager to go. So let's
cool.
see how to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great one. So anytime he's, you can come on anytime for sure. All right, gentlemen. Well, great. Thank you very much. And until next time. I want to say thank you to Jozua and Barry. I really enjoyed that conversation. I hope you did too. Next week, I've got a special guest for you. It should be pretty fun. So we'll announce that on Twitter. So follow us at the DigiMetaverse Show on Twitter. And if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe. And all right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next week.